Good. Here's the audience for today. There we go. All right.
It's safe to say everybody has a cell phone anymore, and everybody has a smartphone. It's not uncommon, it was very uncommon when you see maybe even older generations now. Like I taught my grandmother maybe 2 years ago how to text on a cell phone, and she's in her 80s. Even the older generation is now wanting to get smartphones to be able to see and do everything that we do as well. But the problem with smartphones is that it is taking time away from us. It's taking more of our time per face-to-face interaction to screen time. It's also making us lazier, and it's also affecting our brain and sleep functions. I have done a bunch of research on this topic the last few days about how does it affect our sleep patterns? Does it give us a harder time to fall asleep at night? Do we sleep better if we don't look at our phones before we go to bed? The laziness aspect of smartphones, and also just, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago anyway, about how it takes time away from our everyday life. One big thing that I've learned from doing photography for the last 5 years is when you go to a concert, people are going to be holding their cell phones up to take video or take pictures. And events like a concert and a wedding, they can get in the way of photographers that have been hired for an event. There's a photo that I saw where there was a wedding photographer taking a picture right down the aisle of the bride and her father, and somebody stuck her arm out with a cell phone and blocked the whole shot. So that was not good for that photographer, and the bride and her father missed that opportunity because the woman's phone was right in the middle of the aisle the whole time. So that's another reason as to why cell phones are becoming a bit of a problem with today. There was an interview from the Grammy Awards website in 2017 where they were talking to the singer Adele about a concert experience she had, and there was people in the first 2 rows, every single person was on their cell phone. She paused the concert and she said, "You realize I'm talking to you in real life, right? You don't need to hold your phone up the whole time." So she was kind of annoyed with that. And then she said, "It's okay to take a photo here and there. Like I do that all the time. I'll go to concerts with my camera or just my cell phone. I'll take a few pictures, but I don't want to take it away from the whole overall experience from the show. It's just not the same. Plus, it kind of annoys the artist because you're not supposed to have your flash on, and people do that anyway and hold their phones up, and it's just not the same." Also, in that same interview from the Grammy Awards website in 2017, there was a girl, they randomly pulled a girl out of the audience, and they asked her, "Why did you take the video the whole hour and a half the concert was on for Adele? Her phone was up the whole hour and a half." And they asked her afterwards, "Why did you record the whole thing?" And her exact response to that was, "I want to be able to post a video on my social media to prove I was here, and then I'll never watch it again." So there's just no point in doing that, in my opinion. The second thing I wanted to talk about was how it's kind of making it easier to be lazy. There are apps now such as DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, things like that, where you can just order food online instead of go somewhere, go out to eat. Just sit there, click a button, and it comes to you, which is good in certain situations, but not everyday life. It just makes people lazier, like I keep saying. And also there are stores like Target and now Giant Eagle, where you can go online, call in your order, or go on their app and purchase what you want to buy. And people that work there will get this stuff for you, and then when you show up at their store, you don't even have to get out of your car anymore. You pull into a certain spot, call the number, they bring that to your car for you, load the car, and that's it. One day I was working at Target, I had a woman do that. She ordered 1 bar of soap, and that's it. She was too busy to come in to buy 1 bar of soap, so I had to, my little scanner went off. I thought it was a joke at first. Somebody playing a joke on me, but I was wrong. This woman showed up 20 minutes later, called in, "Where's my soap?" "Sorry, you're so busy, you couldn't come in and get your bar of soap." But the app and our smartphones make it easy to be lazy like that. Oh, another big thing that I've realized too was, again, with doing photography, I like to go to the national parks and take pictures all around everywhere. But it's not the same anymore because people don't get to see the true beauty of the park and the surroundings because they're always wanting to check their email or they're always on their phone. The last time I was at Cuyahoga Valley National Park, I actually had a man walk into me because he was on his Facebook. He was just on his phone scrolling through Facebook, looking, not watching where he was walking. And he walked, I asked him if he saw the deer that was to our right. He said, "Oh no, I didn't see that. Thank you for pointing that out to me." Well, maybe put your phone in your pocket and then you'll see the animals. And there's more to see than just Facebook and social media on your phone. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was how it affects our sleep pattern and our brain functions. There is a hormone that every human has called cortisol, and it's our primary fight or flight hormone that our brain produces. It triggers psychological changes such as spikes in blood pressure, high heart rate, and blood sugar, and it helps us to react and survive acute physical threats. And that was from an article in the New York Times last year. By raising levels of the stress-related hormone cortisol, our phone time may also be threatening our long-term health because it's making us kind of stress out more and affecting our fight or flight response to everyday things as well. And then the last thing I wanted to speak about too was how it affects your sleep pattern. There was an article on the World Health website back in 2019 that says they had participants that were all average between 30 and 40-year-old American adults. They had adult participants were asked to read on their iPad for 4 hours before they went to bed that night. And then they had four hours each night or read printed books in dim lighting because of the way that the very bright cell phone lights hit your eyes. The people, they did that for 5 straight nights. They would either read on their iPad for 4 hours or read printed books in dim lighting for 4 hours for 5 straight nights. Those that read on the iPad were found to have reduced levels of melatonin, and it took them a lot longer for them to fall asleep. People that read actual books in dim lighting had no problem falling asleep much faster. And that's due to, we have cells in the back of our eyes that contain very sensitive proteins that pick up wavelengths. So that bright light on our cell phones right before we want to close our eyes for the night makes it very hard to do so. And then the people that read the physical books in front of their hands, in front of their eyes with the dim lighting, didn't have that problem. And since I went over all those informational little tidbits there for you, hopefully I kind of helped raise some awareness about sleep patterns and brain effectiveness based on cell phone usage and looking at it all the time. And then after doing the research that I found for this speech, I found myself wanting to, I'm a prime example, I'm on my phone all the time, especially with photography. I'm always checking email, checking Facebook to make sure I posted this, or looking at Instagram messages or something like that. I have a Facebook photography business page, and it says on there, business hours 24 hours. So my phone can go off anytime. I check it every morning before I get out of bed, every night. That could be why I'm not sleeping very well. It takes me like hours to fall asleep sometimes. It feels like that's probably the main reason as to why. But now, after reading all this, I want to change it and make it certain hours of each day. So I won't be as likely to check it 24/7 because you never know when I'm going to have something. So that was my big takeaway from all the research that I found, and hopefully you guys learned something and enjoyed it as well. And that's it. Thanks. Sean, put your phone away.